Since the beginning of time, the age-long argument has been whether man gets to control his future or not. The answer is yes and no. Man gets to control his future by the choices he makes. As an individual, a third party can alter the future of another man by changing his choice slightly. Even if a choice is made a few minutes or a few seconds earlier, this results in a whole new story for the individual and the people who his choice affects. I'm one of the watchers missed the part. Join me as we search the multiverse to see what would have happened if the Mad Titan invaded Earth in World War II. This is Season 1, Episode 19. Things are getting insane with the Season 1 episodes. Things are connecting, some things are not connected. That being said, if you guys do enjoy these videos, I can say, make sure you subscribe, like, share, and turn those notifications on, because it really helps support the channel. But that being said, let's see what happens. Reality 002. The deceased body of a reality displayed Ned Leeds still floating in space as the Spider-Man. As this body floated, the magic of the Darkhold continued to infect the body, slowly turning the boy into one of the undead. As the zombie floated in space, it immediately eradicated itself and growled heavily. In seconds, the zombie collapsed its hands together, and a portal opened. The zombie stepped into the portal laughing at the destruction it would soon cause. I missed the part. A watcher continued to discuss with Arsham of Reality 780 on the intending chaos that was befalling in some realities. The power of the Darkhold had killed Ned Leeds, and it had affected him to the core, so deep that his undead mind could travel through realities. Armish could sense my concern, and I could tell he was concerned too. With such a monster at large, there was no telling what it could do. While my hands were bound, I told Armish that he could find a way to offer assistance. We needed to rid ourselves of this Ned Leeds. Armish immediately thought of a way, but he informed me that I would not like it. However, I listened carefully. Reality 369. A young Thanos was more than surprised when he received a telepathic message from Armish. He had not heard from the Celestials or the Eternals in a very long time, so he was rather amused. However, he noticed that there was something different about Armish. He was right. He quickly surmised that this Armish was from a completely different reality. Armish carefully instructed Thanos that, while they had their differences, there was a dangerous monster in this universe, and he had to destroy it. Turns out, Dark Loki had been killed. He had been shot with the full force of the Time Stone, while holding the Soul Stone. That power had erased him from existence. Even with his independence on the Darkhold, Armish was certain that such power was enough for Thanos to use and destroy this new monster. But to do that, the Mad Titan would have to launch his invasion way earlier than he could have ever anticipated, and he would have to do things very differently. The Ancient One closed her eyes, ensuring that she was soaked deep in meditation. She was so lost that she would have almost not noticing the tyrant that sneaked up behind her. But she was the Sorcerer Supreme, and no being could outsmart her. She immediately opened her eyes and put herself in a fighting stance, facing off against a pretty determined alien. However, the alien immediately noted that his name was Ebony Maw, and he was not here for a fight. However, he was here for the Time Stone, which he would get whether or not the Ancient One resisted him. The Ancient One noted that she would resist him to the end, as she knew who the stones were for, and then Maw telekinetically sent two rods flying towards her, immediately changing her position. The Ancient One used her magic to deflect the rods. She immediately taunted Ebony Maw, asking him if this was all he could do, and with that, Ebony Maw attacked her with full force. Meanwhile, the sorcerers were also facing off against members of the Black Order. For the past year, Steve Rogers and his formidable team had been putting an end to the majority of Hydra's operations, a feat that upsetted the Red Skull. Steve was rather impressed when Howard Stark gifted him with a vibranium shield to help him in the war effort. Steve was glad that he was finally getting the recognition he had deserved. They were at war against Red Skull, who was also a super soldier just like Steve. Steve only hoped that they would not be entangled in another war against this one, and if they were, it would be over. They were wrong. To their greatest shock, a ship appeared above the environment, revealing a rather frightening alien beast. Thanos had wasted no time to massacre majority of the soldiers, leaving only Steve Rogers, Peggy Carter, and Bucky Barnes alive. As he took them into his ship, he revealed that he also abducted the Red Skull to get the Space Stone. Then he had to abduct the Ancient One for the Time Stone. He used the next minutes to give them a rather tense briefing, noting that working together was their best shot at destroying this new monster that they were going to soon face. If they were distracted for any reason, it would mean imminent doom. His captives wore long faces, apparently distraught as his method of communication. He had just wiped out a great percentage of random people they cared about. Worse still, he didn't seem to care. They had finally arrived at the desert place, facing the zombified Ned Leeds, who stood before them. For hours, zombie Ned Leeds had been walking without direction, looking desperately for someone to consume. As it saw these heroes and villains from a distance, it immediately shot a dark magic-influenced web at Thanos. It acts immediately and wanted a fight. The fight against the zombie was rather intense. The zombie had the agility of a spider, the strength of an undead man, and the dark magic that flowed through its systems. The Ancient One was still able to encase the zombie in a shield spell, allowing Thanos to take out his weapon and strike zombie Ned. Steve, Peggy, and Barnes gathered around as the Ancient One began to chant, using her magic to channel both the Space Stone and the Time Stone. She was finally about to kill zombie Ned when a spell from zombie Ned's mouth broke her concentration. She fainted, allowing the zombie time and rushing up to Peggy Carter and bit her. To everyone's horror, Peggy painfully transformed into another zombie, hunger for destruction in her eyes. With two dark magic-powered zombies, it didn't take long before Steve, Barnes, and the Ancient One were dead. Thanos looked frightened at the two zombies. He wondered why they had not killed him, or why they had not made him one of them. But one thing was clear, they needed him for a bigger purpose. I was downcasted as I realized Armish's plans failed. With Thanos and the Infinity Stones at the mercy of the zombies, I knew that someone had to do something else to end the fight that was brewing, and I knew how to do it. And that is going to be, what if Thanos had invaded in World War II? This is mostly a connected story. I can always make another version of this that strictly has like Infinity War Thanos brought into this, but this story serves more of a purpose for my Season 1 Episode 19. Like I said before, a lot of these are not connected, but some of them are connected just for me to have a little bit more fun on the channel. That being said, if you guys do enjoy these videos and want to stay all up to date with them, do make sure to subscribe, like, share, and turn those notifications on so you and your friends are all up to date with the latest content. But anyways, as always guys, thanks for tuning in, and have a fantastic day.